You guessed it, you asked for it, and you know it. It's time for another top 10 strongest list. This time going in on the ice types. The last video saw us going after the flying types, and since ice is strong against that, well, you know. The ice types have long since been regarded as the worst defensive typing in the game, but that doesn't stop it from putting forth its share of heavy hitters. You can already guess a couple of them, but if you were so sure in your own rankings, you wouldn't be here, now would you? So let's throw on a warm coat and take a look at today's top 10. Before we start though, I have a new channel called Mystic Reads where I read anime fanfics, so if that's up your alley, consider checking it out. Also, over on Mystic Umbreon Shorts, we're doing 5 facts about every single Pokemon every single day. And if we can hit 5,000 subscribers, I have a very special top 5 series I'm going to be doing over on Mystic Umbreon Shorts. So let's get there. So with that, let's get started. We'll open up the list today in the only way we possibly could, by talking about ice cream. Is there any better way to celebrate the ice typing? Vanillex is known for being a real budget Auravale user that serves as a facilitator of hail. When the hail kicks on the field thanks to snow warning, you really only need to use the choice specs on this cone to ravage the opponent with blizzards that won't miss. You gotta remember, Vanillex boasts a nice 110 base special attack, and while it's super slow, it's still going to put out massive damage from a tremendous stab move. It's honestly going to spook some of the usually seen steel types too, like Excadrill or Celesteela, since they're neutral to ice instead of resisting due to their dual typings. All in all, Vanillex doesn't have a lot of other things it can do, and its speed isn't anything to write home about. However, with the one thing it does so well, that was enough to earn it an opening spot. Next up is Alolan Sandslash, which couldn't crack the Steel type list, but this time settles in pretty deservedly on this one. It's a star on Hail teams as you'd expect, running Slush Rush and Snow Cloak as abilities. You'd honestly want to use Slush Rush of course, as a poor 65 speed stat ends up doubled, and that plays big time. It can honestly sweep in the Hail, using moves like Triple Axle, Iron Head, and Earthquake to bring upon some tough to take damage. There's also of course the option of running Rapid Spin, as it serves to not just remove hazards from the field, but also speeds up Sandslash even more in battle. The number one thing Sandslash has working against it are a duo of ×4 weaknesses to fire and fighting, which are super common to come across in any situation. It got held back majorly by that, but the point remains that it's still a top 10 ice type. Let's talk about Frostslass here in the number 8 spot, which follows up Sandslash as a Pokemon that couldn't make the cut on its other typings top 10. Its Ice Ghost typing is actually a good combo, serving as a nice offensive layout for battles, allowing it to do damage to a wide variety of Pokemon with moves like Icy Wind and Shadow Ball. Its best role though is a spike setter. And with 110 speed, it's practically guaranteed to get things set up before a taunt user can shut it down under many circumstances. It can also turn the taunt on its own, and then use Destiny Bond to constantly threaten the takedown and important opposing Pokemon with it. If you really wanted to shove a choice band on it too, and run a series of physical moves like Triple Axle and Poltergeist, well, honestly that's not too bad of an option either. That's what's great about Frostslass. You have options, and that's why it's here on the list. The next Pokemon we have here is one actually finally returning from a previous list, Cloister. It's known for 2 fantastic things that it's capable of doing: rapid spinning and shell smashing. Whether you're playing in the OU tier of Sword and Shield or BDSP, you can rely on Cloister to hold its own on the battlefield. It's a fantastic short-term counter to Garchomp for one, and you should always want a Pokemon that can handle the Chomp. Its Skill Link ability leaves it able to use moves like Icicle Spear and Rock Blast to their full abilities. And when you've already boosted your physical attack, well, you're gonna tear the battlefield up. Did I mention it could set up spikes as well? That's another one of its big competitive usages. What you ultimately choose to do with Cloister is up to you. It can just be a rapid spinner hazard setter, but it's also very capable of being a destructive attacker on the field. It's nice to see it get another appearance on a list in this series. Right outside of the top 5, we have Lapras, which puts us right back in the discussion we had in the Pokemon prior to Cloister. It's another Pokemon that wasn't good enough to end up on the list of its other typing. It may be a better Ice type than the Weevile Pokemon, but that's certainly not the case with the Water typing. Anyway, I'll keep this short. Lapras is amazing when you can Gigantamax it. It sets up an Aurora Veil for a few turns with G-Max Resonance, and also does consistent damage. That is amazing for doubles, and thus makes Lapras one of the best support Pokemon you can have. That's all there is to it. In a world where Ice-type Pokemon aren't really seen as complementary in doubles, Lapras is there to change the game. Thank you, you bulky, weirdo Loch Ness monster thing. I love you. The top 5 today opens with Mamoswine, which aside from Vanillex, actually has an excuse why it hasn't been on another list yet. We haven't handled the ground types. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, this thing is the first true brute force attacker of the video. Like, nobody wants to switch in on an Earthquake or Icicle Crash from a Mamoswine. It's just going to hurt too much, as they're naturally both stab, and Mamo's 130 base attack is one of the highest in this video. It's so good, it actually sees a bit of play in OU holding a Choice Band. It really does just work when you want to do some big damage against someone and want a Pokemon with some versatility in its offensive move pool to do damage. You can run it with Oblivious or Thick Fat and pretty much have success either way. And that's always a nice thing when the ability is super flexible. I'd say Mamoswine is a pretty respectable way to open up the top 5 today. Next up, we've got Arcsult, making its second top 5 appearance on a list. Like I've said in the past, Arcsult could have been in the number 1 spot on the electric list, and definitely have been higher today. But its major issue that prevented that was its speed. While it has Slush Rush and thus becomes faster in the hail, it still doesn't reach the levels of speed that would have it completely outspeeding everything out there. Though its Ice-Electric typing pretty much makes it in a class of its own because there's virtually nothing that can flat out resist it, the Ice typing covers the ground types, which is pretty huge in retrospect. There are still going to be a lot of Pokemon that it can outspeed though in the hail, and with Bolt Beak and a Choice Band, it's pretty much a wrap. The speed will always be held against Arcsult, but damn if it doesn't make up for that problem with its power. Who's got 3rd place today? It's Alolan Ninetales. As expected, both of the Ice-type Alolan forms found their way onto the list, which I think is proof that with regional variants, Game Freak really wanted to improve the Ice typing. It's a great support Pokemon, even better than Lapras, as it just brings the hail with Snow Warning, and can Aurora Veil constantly if need be, while Lapras basically is relying on doing it just once, in a battle with that G-Max Resonance move. Ninetales is able to offer that sort of defensive support in doubles while running other non-damaging moves like Encore and Pain Split to really give the opponent a hard time. It's able to run Moonblast and Freeze Dry as well, virtually giving it a viable opportunity to hurt just about anything. It's a great 3rd place Pokemon for today, and I fully expect a return on the Fairy type list. The penultimate spot goes to a former 1st place winner, this time being Weevile. As you guys know, it's potentially one of the top 10 Pokemon in BDSP and Sword and Shield OU. You can run Swords Dance on it, or throw a Choice Band on a thing, and bang, nobody is handling its Dark and Ice type moves properly. Give it Triple Axle, give it Knockoff, even give it Ice Shard for some priority. Not like you're desperate for priority, the thing's got base 125 speed. It's already outspeeding plenty. If you choose to go heavy duty boots in setup, you're going to have a tremendous time with that speed. That's it, it's just the best. You guys have used Weevile before, probably been clapped by one in the past, and while it's not the top spot on this list, it's sort of understandable as you're about to see. Surely you guys already knew what would make the top spot today, right? Come on folks, it's Galarian Darmanitan. Like I said, Game Freak decided to make the ice typing better by adding some dope regional variants, and it worked like a charm. Guerrilla Tactics, a Choice Band, and full investment in attack pretty much leaves Darmanitan as an untouchable force that will destroy anything in its path regardless of resistances or otherwise. It's also very capable as a belly drum user with Zen mode, which basically gives it a whole new playstyle that dominates. There's a reason Darmanitan was shoved into Ubers so early on in the Sword and Shield. And this is why it's one of the strongest and most broken Pokemon of all time. So that's it for the ice typing. We kind of breezed through that one. But I suppose when you're one of the worst typings in the franchise, it's not too hard to get through the best you have to offer. Join me next time as we tackle another exciting typing and draw even closer to the conclusion of the series. I'm very much looking forward to it. Hey, it's the outro. Isn't that exciting? Thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. We're getting ready to enter the fall, and the final stretch of hype for Scarlet and Violet is here. The excitement for Pokemon's 9th generation is at its peak, and I couldn't be more excited. We've still got plenty to cover before then though, so keep yourselves locked in. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts channel. If we get the 10K followers on TikTok, and we're super close, I'll be doing a viewer's choice video. Also, if you're into fanfictions and what ifs, check out Mystic Reads. I offer a ton of creative spoken word content on there, so come and join me. That's all for now. Make sure you subscribe for more fantastic content, and I'll see you next time.